Wisconsin, Thomas Minguske, with your host, Kevin Schoen. Are you Thomas?
I'm Thomas.
Yeah, he's Thomas, man.
All right, we got two guests tonight. Thomas Minguske, Kevin Schoen, Larry the Band, and me, Sexy Hermit. Woo!
It's all nylon strings, so it wouldn't be too hard.
All right, Thomas.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much.
So I hear you're an interesting person.
Well, that's what I'm here for. To be
What-
interesting. I mean, you know.
Yeah. What kind of interview would it be if it wasn't an interview with an interesting
Interesting person.
Yes. So, you're a doctor.
Yes, I am.
Are you allowed to reveal? Is it okay to reveal what sort of doctor
I
you obtained your doctorate in?
I got my bachelor's degree at Michigan State in psychology and biochemistry,
Mm-hmm.
and my doctorate at Michigan in dentistry.
Oh, well, I'm
And
sorry
I
to
have-
hear that.
I have advanced degrees in other places.
Cool, man. Okay, so you had an experience. Tell me about your. I have on this card here. What a wonderful guest. He's got me a card of interesting.
I've had to
notes
do
look-
with your end, so.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Sometimes you
Yeah.
you don't want to know what happens when people are hard to talk to.
That's right. So a cheat sheet's good.
Yeah, dude, totally. Tell me about like you have a history of science fiction.
Yes. I grew up reading science fiction. My father was a little bit of a science fiction
Yeah.
buff, but not too much. Mostly westerns. But he had one book that
Yeah.
he wanted me to read, and that was Heinlein's "Stranger in a Strange Land." And that was in
Yep.
the early '60s. Probably I read that. I think he did it in '62, and my dad gave it to me in '64.
Yeah.
And that really was a mind-expanding book. It was wonderfully spiritual, and a lot of mind control and a lot of meditation type things in it. And,
Yeah.
and it was funny and it was informative and it expanded my whole genre of metaphysics with just one book. It was an amazing book. And when I was in college at Michigan State, people went around. It was a hot item in 1970 maybe, and then people went around going, "I grok that."
I grok that.
Grok was
Yeah.
a deeper understanding. You know the word?
I've heard it before.
Yeah. Well, it was a big deal at that point in time because they were pushing the book on campus in literature.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
And so people were walking around grokking, just like they did with the Star Trek and the fingers thing. But,
Yeah. Now, is this the same guy who wrote Starship Troopers?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that
okay.
was a different type.
Yeah, right, of course. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but he had a really spiritual side to him, and that was the part that I liked. He had a couple of books that were real spiritual, and then Starship Troopers was very, very dark compared to
Right.
most of the other things. So anyway, that was a big. The other thing was Thou Art God.
Thou art God. Mm-hmm.
That was
Yep.
came out of that same book, and
Yep.
people walked around campus going, "I grok it," and "I Thou Art God."
Mm-hmm.
It was a very cool thing, at that time
Yeah.
because it was dark that time. At the
Right,
we were
yeah.
having protests and getting tear gassed, and
Yep.
we were getting tear gassed at very, very non-violent situations. To get tear
Right.
gassed. I got tear gas walking past Jacobson's one time.
Right.
So
I grok you.
yeah.
So
it was a kind of an but
Yeah.
it was a spiritual thing, and
Right.
that kind of actually kicked off my metaphysical
Tell me about your adventures into the spirit world.
in the spirit world. Well, I've been meditating off and on since probably 1970, and I joined some Egyptian mystical organizations, and I've been to Egypt, and I actually sang in the Great Pyramid and lectured over there a little bit, and I've lectured in Canada and Mexico, and I stayed away from Michigan because being a dentist and doing
Yeah.
this stuff was not really compatible with.
So you think there was a social divide there of hard science and more
Yeah,
from a mental state, right?
well, yeah, and it was really funny because people would come up and they put a book on my counter at the office and see whether I'd notice it or not.
Oh, really?
You know, Edgar
Okay.
Casey or somebody,
Uh-huh,
you know,
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So, did you see my book over there? You know.
And they would be like, "Are you in the
Are
the
you-
know?
yeah,
I've heard about you. You're in the know, aren't you?"
Well, sometimes we help people get through bad situations, and
Yeah.
you know, when they had reactions to medications or fear. I got into hypnosis
Yeah, tell me about that.
because of phobias, and dentistry is obviously a big phobia for a lot of people. There's a lot of fear involved, and
I love the dentist. I'm not one of those. I just really enjoy going to
well,
the dentist.
that's good. I mean, dentistry's changed, but
Right.
you know, it was
Back
already
then,
it was already changed, but people already had history.
That wasn't pre-Novocaine, was it?
No. Yeah, we used
we used
we used
chainsaw,
horse gas to get
horse
you know?
gas to get you down. Yeah, bottle of wine and a bottle of whiskey. You know,
methane, you know. No.
we hooked the tailpipe up to our office. And, yeah, you know, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
you know,
it was pretty advanced by 1976
Yes,
when I
yes.
started practicing.
Yeah, well, that's good,
yeah,
that's good.
We were
no
up there.
tailpipe emissions to worry about
No,
in the
no,
office.
no,
then.
no. We gassed a few cats.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know. I mean, I sometimes gas my girlfriend, you know, in the bed. But, you know, we'll talk about that
Okay.
later. So
So,
tell me about
anyway-
your pathway into deep hypnosis. Would you hypnotize patients on occasion? Or-
Yes,
okay.
we used it for pain control.
Oh, you did?
mostly.
Okay, yeah.
And I did do quite a bit of phobia work with people. I did it outside of dentistry.
Right.
Where we actually took one woman that had been raped as a child and wanted to
Oh,
have
yeah.
children, and couldn't do it because of her fear.
Yeah.
And we went through a phobia release with her, and she got pregnant within 6 weeks.
Oh, that's
And
good.
had twins. So, I mean, she was 30 years old when she finally ended up having children because she couldn't have children. She couldn't have a relationship. She had one relationship after another, 3 marriages and no children. So it was phobia release is really important stuff, but
I want to know more about that. We're going to pick that up in our second episode.
a second episode.
Yes, we go multiple episodes here.
Multiple episodes.
Yeah, you know,
after
because those
that.
people on the internet, they have no patience whatsoever. You got to break it down into little pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 minutes is going to go kind of fast.
Right. All right. I'm Kevin Schoen. This is Interview with an Interesting Person with Thomas Minguske. Minguske. Golly, I messed that up.
So, anyway, hypnosis continued for me.
Hang on a moment.
All right. Oh, we gotta clump a little bit there.
We're signing off, and we'll be back for episode 2.
Already?
Already.
Tonight on an interview with an interesting person, part 2 of Thomas Minguske, with your host Kevin Schoen, Larry the Band, and me, Sexy Hermit.
Okay, good.
Welcome back, Thomas.
Hi.
Yeah, man,
It's
great.
been
It's been a long time.
time.
Yeah,
long
I'm
time.
glad you were able to make it all the way back for episode 2. Actually, just so everybody knows, we just kind of like do them one right after another.
That's fine.
Right.
Whatever.
So it's only been a couple minutes. I mean, it seems like a long time. You could have come back days or weeks later. Okay, I want to know about dowsing. Okay.
Dowsing.
Well, it's got to be there. But you did correct me earlier.
Yes.
It tells you how little I know about this.
Well, dowsing is.
I don't even know how to say it. So dowsing.
Dowsing. It's
Yeah.
a divining technique, but it's more than that.
So
There's like 20 some different kinds of dowsing,
okay.
and
What's the one with the
chiropractors,
sticks?
huh?
What's the one with the
Oh, the
sticks?
sticks. Well, that's for finding like water. They're called L.
So they kind of like float. What about like an Ouija table? Is that like kind of
No,
like
that's
a
not
low rent
dowsing.
version of it?
No, that's different. It's
Okay.
kind of using a different energy, but it's still using your
Okay.
energy around your body.
Yeah,
and that's
okay.
what dowsing does. Is
Okay.
dowsing uses your higher energy levels to give you answers, and sometimes they're not what you want. So it's your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are different with dowsing. They're separate.
There's not one dowsing that will give you only the answers you want to hear.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. You get.
I was,
You've heard of a pendulum.
Yeah.
You know,
it goes
people
back.
they find people which the sex of the baby is and that kind of silly thing.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But it can be used for all kinds of things. L rods are used for finding water and minerals and
So
things
there's
like
about.
that.
Is there 20 types? You
There's
said.
20 types.
Okay.
Kinesiology is one that's used by the chiropractors, where they use their arm and they test the muscle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a form of dowsing.
Oh, is it okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can do it for as simple as a finger.
Yeah.
Resisting a finger,
Yep.
And it's my name Tom Minguske, I'm strong. My name Kevin, I'm weak. Okay?
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's.
Oh, I see.
In Victorian days, the old ladies would sit around the table and work with their leg, and if it was the right answer, the leg would stay strong. If it was weak, their leg would collapse.
Oh,
they
really?
could do it under the table, and nobody could see what they were doing.
Like, would somebody have their hand on their leg? And
Yeah,
I get it.
they do it like this. It's my mother was Scotch, and there was a lot of interesting stuff coming out of those Victorian women.
Really?
Yeah, the English women were very spiritual and very metaphysical.
There was a big phase in what was it, the 20s and teens and that kind of stuff like that,
Yeah.
the 30s.
Well, my mother's family came over here right around the turn of the century.
Okay.
And my mother's family was Scotch, and my father's family were German, and the Germans were very, very intellectual, and the Scots were very spiritual.
Yeah.
Was, but my mother actually introduced me to dowsing, and I didn't realize what she was teaching me.
Really?
Yeah. So.
And so, do you have a particularly favorite form of dowsing that you like? Oh, that one?
That one. There's
Okay.
stickies and smoothies, where sticky is if your answer is yes, it may stick. You have to program. When you're using a pendulum, you program the pendulum. Give me a yes is a circular this way.
Yep.
A no's goes this way, and a stupid question might be back and forth.
Well, tell me what
Can we do some of it?
I don't know. Try it out on me.
Well, it's not me; it's you.
Oh,
It's
okay.
your
What do I
stuff.
have to do? What should I do? Tell me how to do the finger
Well,
thing.
you just keep the pendulum is a pendulum. That's a string and an object. It could be a ring. It could be a bolt.
Can I
Could
do a
be-
finger thing?
Yeah, you can do it. That's not a pendulum. No, that's kinesiology.
Oh, okay. So we can't do it on camera.
We can do it on camera if I'd have brought a pendulum.
Oh, okay.
Or even a necklace would work.
Oh, okay.
This might
Yeah,
work.
well, okay, sure, yeah.
Sure.
This. Oh.
No. Ooh, yeah, that's it.
That's a kick-ass pendulum.
Right.
Okay.
Bright and shiny.
Let's see how it does. Okay.
Well, I got to figure out what to do with all the string.
Well,
but
yeah.
I'll get it.
We can.
All right, so when you're using a pendulum, you start over your right leg.
Here,
and
bring
you
it up
say-
a little bit.
All right. You start over your right leg and you program the pendulum. Give me a yes.
Yes.
Give me a no.
No.
Give me a stupid question. And
Why
that's
does it rain?
and this is called calibration, just like you
Really?
would do in a
Okay.
machine, anything else. But you're calibrating your own psyche.
Okay.
So, is my name Thomas Minguske? Do you see my hand moving?
No, not
Is
really.
my name Kevin Hart? Is my name Julius Caesar? That's a pendulum.
Oh man, that's that's some weird stuff.
And you can test anything with a pendulum. You can test anything with dowsing. Give me a yes, give me a no. I don't get a stupid question with this, but pendulum, you get that distinction.
Yeah.
And when you're dowsing with rods,
Yep.
when you're trying to find water, usually use 3 people
Yeah.
to do it, and they all come into a certain point. So you're what do you call that? Triangulation.
You were triangulation.
Yeah, triangulation. Yeah. So, and we found water at a farm I had, and got a well at 60 feet with pure clean water. And,
That's
but we had 3 different people doing it to come to the place, because you do one person.
What if you had 4? What if you have a 4?
Well, it wouldn't matter.
Okay.
Three's
Three's the kind of the
three's a minimum.
Yeah, okay.
To do something like that. But if you're finding minerals, usually it's just one person. I don't know what the difference is, but
What about, you had another thing you were mentioning before the show, neuro-linguistic programming.
neurolinguistic programming is. They say it's not hypnosis, but it is kind
Well,
of.
isn't it kind of like repetition, kind of melds your brain into a pattern?
No, it rearranges your brain.
Tell me how. Whoa, dude.
So if you want to get
This is going to go into episode 3, I can tell.
obviously.
Okay,
If you
go ahead.
if you wanna get rid of a memory,
Yeah,
you put it in back of your mind.
right.
You put a frame around it. You make it starts out bright, and you make it dim, go black and white, get smaller.
After every major bathroom break, I go through this very same process.
That is a neurolinguistic programming technique.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, every bad bathroom break, bam, I'm right there, man. Yeah, a little PTSD.
But so
okay,
is-
so it's
so-
about rearranging your thoughts and putting them into different areas?
Yeah, it's changing your
What if
your
you want to
perspective.
take a happy thought? Do you bring it forward to the
bring
front
it
of your brain?
forward, make it brighter.
Yeah.
Put a bigger frame around it.
Right.
Make it bigger.
Yeah.
You make a bigger frame, and you can create a memory that doesn't exist
Yeah, right.
with neurolinguistics.
What if I can implant like memories?
Actually, it came out of the Korean brainwashing. People
Yeah,
like
well.
Heinlein and the guy that did the
Oh yeah.
Ron Hubbard, the guy that did the Dianetic stuff.
Oh, dude, we're gonna get into it in episode 3. I gotta get a little more into this neuro-linguistic program. I gotta know a little more about it, dude. I want to inject some interesting, crazy, wild time memories.
All right.
All right.
So when somebody that has
Is this on camera?
I'm Kevin
when you're doing
Schoen.
this stuff? Okay. And we're doing 3?
Yeah. This
All
is
right.
Interview with an Interesting Person. We'll be back for episode 3 in just a couple of moments.
Am I interesting enough?
Dude, you are totally interesting enough. You are like way out interesting, man. We'll see you soon.
Tonight, on part 3, rare part 3 interview with Thomas Minguske, your host Kevin Schoen, Larry the Band, and me, Sexy Hermit.
I'll have you know, our friend who goes by Sexy Hermit.
Sexy?
Yes, he is a hermit, and I must say, his name is appropriate. Don't you think?
Well, I don't know. It seems pretty gregarious for
You
being a
ought
hermit.
to, right? Well, he's got to get out of the, get out into the world a little bit. He's this is his only time. He's normally boxed up somewhere, and then he comes out for this show, and he's just the happiest he ever was. And he's like,
good.
that's all I can handle, And so, okay, neuro-linguistic programming, where you're like, it's kind of like rearranging your thoughts into different parts of your brain in order to accentuate. But tell me more.
Right. Well, I got introduced in neurolinguistics
Yep.
through Tony Robbins. He's a motivational
I've
speaker.
heard of him. Yeah.
First time I met Tony, we did a fire walk at Coble Hall.
Yeah. When was this? How long ago?
A while.
A while.
I don't know.
Okay.
And probably in the late 80s
Okay.
or maybe early 90s. I don't know. But we did a fire walk, and we walked 12 feet. We put 400 people through the fire walk, and nobody got hurt.
Did they go fast?
There's a whole process that he put people through to get them ready to go.
Right. Yeah.
And Tony was very conscientious.
Okay.
I've been through other fire walks where the people were not conscientious and people got hurt.
Right. Yeah. Huh.
But Tony
Walking
did,
on fire,
Tony did
yeah.
a very good job.
So no wearing nylon socks. You probably got to go barefoot, right?
Yeah,
No nylon
it's
socks.
barefoot and you roll your pants up, and nylon pants aren't really good either.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, there's a story that Stephen Lavelle, who is another hypnotherapy teacher.
Yep.
You ever heard of him?
No, I have not.
Well, Stephen Lavelle tricked Tony into doing his first fire walk, and Tony had a polyester pair of pants on, and welded his rolled cuff to his pants so he couldn't roll them down again.
Oh, man.
And that's how
That's not funny.
That's how Tony got. That's how.
He was like, I'm going to do fire walking the right way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he did it the right way after Lavelle tricked him into doing this with polyester pants, and
Oh,
he
my
laughed
gosh.
his ass off about it.
Yeah, sounds dangerous.
So anyway.
Might have been some drugs involved there. I don't know.
Yeah, Bandler and Grinder are the two authors that brought neurolinguistic programming to the forefront. There are a couple of, well, actually, one was a linguist, and I think the other one was a psychologist. But
Okay.
But it came out of the Korean brainwashing,
Right.
North Korean brainwashing
Yep.
stuff, where they reprogram people's memories, and it was the most effective brainwashing techniques on earth.
So how is the technique implemented?
Well, it's implemented mostly to do good,
Right, I would hope
and
so, yeah.
mostly to help people's lives work better, and
Yep.
that's what your program's about, is helping people function. There's a lot of neurolinguistic programming professionals out there now.
Okay.
There didn't used to be. When I
Yep.
started doing it, there wasn't any hardly at all anywhere. But anyway, I did 8 fire walks. We broke a world's record out in Palm Springs. We had to hold hands with a person of the other sex. I used my wife at the time.
Well,
And
that's
we
a
walked
bonus.
42 feet, which the world's record at that time was 40 feet. So we went 42 feet and
Now,
did-
why did you have to do it with somebody of the opposite sex?
because it was different
Different
than anybody
energy.
else had ever done. Nobody had ever done 2 people at the same time and longer than anybody else had done.
Okay,
And if you ever met Tony, he likes things big. He's 6'7" or 8
Yeah,
years
yeah.
tall. He's a very big guy, and he does things big. I mean,
Yep.
he's a very fascinating man. One of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life.
Oh, really? Okay. Yep.
Hey guys,
Yep.
we got a question from one of our viewers.
Oh.
Really? A question?
A question. This is a live
That's
show.
right. We got a
We
question.
got a question, and they were talking about your dowsing earlier. And have you ever doused, if that's the proper past tense verb, have you ever doused before on one of Michigan's ley lines?
Yes, we laid out a medicine wheel.
So what is a ley line? Let's start with that.
All right, ley line is a force of energy that runs in the Earth's surface, whether it's in the Earth or above the Earth.
Yeah.
There's
It's like a power force.
yeah, like the Knights Templars castles were all built on ley lines,
Really?
and a lot of the cathedrals and a lot of the ancient temples were all built on ley lines. So
course.
other people
Yeah.
were in history have been able to. I mean,
You wouldn't build it on a non-ley line if you were like, heck, I'm gonna build a cathedral.
there is more energy available there,
Yeah. Okay.
and people get goosies up their spine.
Mm-hmm.
They have psychic events going
Yeah.
on there.
So he was asking about ley lines.
All right,
Dowsing.
ley lines. We doused for we had about 15 people.
Yeah.
We made our rods, L rods. We made them out of bent copper. They were about this big, and we doused for where these stones should go to lay out a medicine wheel, which is a round.
Okay.
You start with a round thing, and there was one person carrying a rock and somebody finding where it went, and it ended up being a perfect pattern with curves going to a center point. And it was phenomenal experience, just absolutely amazing. Because we
Yeah.
would douse for it, and those end up being one after another. But it wasn't. They
How
weren't
far
straight.
apart are they?
The rocks we put?
No,
the
the-
ley lines.
Yeah.
Well, there's big ley lines, and there's smaller ley lines, and there's spider web ley lines that they get smaller and smaller.
Is
In
there
this case,
is
it
there
was
a really cool one around here you know about? The,
not. I don't know.
do they move much?
We're in Lake Lansing area. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know in this area, but
Probably isn't one here, but I'm hoping.
there is one here.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to start
And
looking.
you'll find water patterns associated with ley lines too.
Really?
Yeah.
So, so you have found ley lines then?
Yeah, we found ley lines. We laid out the house that I built
Yeah.
on the way to Hastings on.
Mm-hmm.
We built that on a ley line.
Yeah.
Where two ley lines intersected was where we built the house. And it was a very, very powerful place. And we laid out another place. We did
Yep.
a sweat lodge there, and then what we called a peace sound chamber, which was built on a Huron Indian hut, kind of a half of an egg shape.
So that's where you built your house on the
That's
ley
where I
line.
built my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And get good dreams that way.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
But you might have interesting dreams.
Yeah, weird dreams,
Yeah,
man.
you could have very good ones, or you could have bad ones, depending on what's happened
Yep.
on the energy field. So,
Well, it's been really interesting. You're an interesting person. And thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Tonight we've had Dr. Thomas Minguske, a dentist and a spiritualist. Is that okay to say a spiritualist?
yeah, you can
or-
say it. I'm not really a spiritualist.
Metaphysic-
Metaphysically,
metaphysics, yeah.
I'm a minister at a small church, the Lighthouse Chapel in Lansing,
Oh, okay.
and it's an not interdenominational. It's interfaith.
What's the name of it?
Lighthouse Chapel.
Lighthouse Chapel. Well, you're
Yeah.
cool. Well, thanks for coming on the show. I really
You're welcome.
appreciate it. Are people welcome to come to Lighthouse Chapel?
They are welcome to come to Lighthouse Chapel. It's at.
And you'll be there on occasion.
I am there pretty much every week.
Okay. Cool.
We only have 2 ministers, so.
Oh, okay. Good.
But it's more of an informative place rather
Yeah.
than we don't teach a dogma. It's
Yeah.
our speakers come from all walks of life.
So Lighthouse Chapel. Stop by and see Dr. Thomas Minguske. And thank you for coming on the show. It's very interesting. I learned a lot. And this is Kevin Schoen interview with an interesting person. Until next time.
Till next time. Bye.
Tonight on an interview with an interesting person, part 1 of Scott Hatinger, with your host Kevin Schoen, Larry the Man, and me, Sexy Hermit.
Welcome aboard, Scott Hatinger.
Hatinger.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
Cool. So, this is interview with an interesting person. I'd like to know all about you.
Awesome.
Tell me your story, Scott. You're
I'm
deep.
an open book.
You're an open book. Do you have any deep and dark secrets we should know from the start, or will we get into that a little later?
No secrets.
Okay, good.
No
Good.
secrets.
Yep.
Zero. I am definitely on the sleeve of my shirt type of person, and
Yeah.
really the only gifts I have are the gift of gab
Mm-hmm.
and the gift of listening, and
Well, those are two good gifts.
you know, I'm kind of an empath where I feel other people's energy,
Yeah, man.
and sometimes they steal it from me.
Wow.
And I think they're called like psychic vampires or
Psychic
whatever. where they
vampires.
suck any positive energy right out of me.
Yeah,
but
man.
you're not one of those.
Okay, well,
So,
trying not to be, you know. But more what I'm into, you know, I don't like to suck energy. I like to throw it around and, like, get it back and, you know, I don't know. You know.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I
I
hear
do,
you.
yeah.
I love that. Because I totally believe that what we put out energy-wise in the universe comes back to us.
Of
You know, we
course.
put out some negative stuff. I think we get negative stuff back.
That's true.
And
Yep, that's absolutely
I try to. I'm basically a hippie at heart.
right.
And I'm a little too young to be a true hippie. I'm not as old as Tom, but
He's professional.
but he's a professional.
Yeah, he's a professional hippie.
I'm carrying.
you're
I'm
more
helping
like
carry-
you're more like a '70s hippie. Then
There
is
you
what you're
go.
saying.
That's exactly what I was
early,
gonna
you know,
say.
Yeah.
carrying the torch through the 70s.
You know what I am? I'm a grunge hippie.
A grunge.
Yeah, there was this whole era. It was horrible. It was from 1990 like 1 to 94, 5 when, you know, it was grunge.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
It was gray and dirty.
Yeah, it's gritty and dirty. Lumberjack. Little.
Gravelly.
Okay. So Mr. 70s hippie, quasi, you know. I mean, that's. I'm not trying to corn it up or anything. But,
No.
you know.
There's a
Okay.
lot more to it than that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I've always been in search of. In search of, you know, the usual meaning for life. What's
Right.
my purpose here on the planet?
Right.
Yeah. Am I ever going to get laid? Those kind of questions.
Of
you
course,
know?
yes,
You know,
yes.
the big
The big questions, the biggest.
And-
of course, yes.
It's
Am
pretty-
I going to find what the universe is about and what it
Yeah.
holds?
And what it holds for me. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, you know, most of my life, I always thought the search was outside myself.
Right.
But there's a certain point started really about 10 or 11 years ago,
Yep.
where I slowly but surely discovered that the journey is an inward journey.
Right.
And it's a tough one. It's only 8 inches long, and it's between my ears.
Right.
And that's the toughest journey I'll have in my life.
Right.
It's just, I love
So it's
Buddhist
all about,
and Eastern philosophy.
It's all about what you think and how you perceive the world, and you know,
Absolutely.
getting your brain in the right place, getting
We-
your thoughts in the right place.
Like we see the world through the universe's eyes, I believe.
Right.
Because we are the universe. And man, part of my background, my dad was a retired high school science teacher from Hazlitt, Michigan. And I grew up, and Vivian grew up in Hazlitt here.
We're in Hazlitt right now.
in
We're-
Hazlitt.
You know, is the proper name for Hazlitt people? I'm a relatively new Hazlitt person. Hazlittite
Nope.
or Hazlittarian?
Spazlet.
Spazlitt. Oh, really? Okay.
That's what they used to call us in high school.
Oh, really?
Spazlet. Okamus was Jokamus or Okapus, and you know, Hazlitt was Spazlet.
Spazlitt.
But I don't know. Hazlitt's interesting because James Hazlitt, the guy who named the town's named after,
Yep.
has spirituals camp right down the street from you.
Yeah,
Where
right.
the South Park is.
On Lake
And
Lansing.
Right on
Yeah,
Lake
there-
Lansing.
That was the original occupation of Lake Lansing area, was a spiritual camp back
Yeah.
in the 1800s and
Yep.
early 1900s, right?
And
Yeah.
spiritualism was very big. Probably
Right.
one of the reasons why I kind of drifted into spiritualism now,
Yeah.
or that type of philosophy. Maybe because it was the water, you know.
Do you think? Do you know about ley lines?
I did.
I bet we have some here. That's why the
I'm
spiritualism.
you know there is, because the natives around here before the Europeans came by.
Yeah.
This was a spiritual place. This lake was a wild rice grew here. They could catch fish and have a rice dinner all the same day.
Right.
And but they love this area. I'm sure there's a lot of spirituality coming in here.
Yeah.
Something major that happened early on. Early on in my life, I was only like 7. I have to bring this up just because.
Go right ahead.
It opened my head literally to new ideas. I was 7 playing at my aunt and uncle's in a tree. Branch broke. Scott falls out of the tree, lands on the back of his head on the cement sidewalk. In and out of coma for a couple days. I saw that quintessential black tunnel with a light.
Whoa!
And it was really
Yep.
bizarre. But only being 7, I didn't understand it.
Right.
And the brain is so powerful, it just kind of blocked that off from me. I wasn't able to.
So you were in a
get
coma
it.
for a couple of 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
Yep. And I'd float in and out of the coma.
Yep.
And in the hospital, and I don't know what difference that made or anything, but it's the only bone I've broken, so I think it has something to say with something there is the thickest bone,
Yeah.
I've been hit by lightning.
What? You've been hit by lightning?
Yeah.
Was that like totally rad?
It was cool. It was really
No
cool.
way. Was it? It wasn't painful.
It was
at
cool.
all?
No,
Okay.
no, it was cool because I was inside a building.
Okay.
And are we about to break?
We-
No, I was inside a building working. Lightning hit the building, went through the electrical system, so it got diffused.
Right.
But a little blue bolt still came through a piece of. It was a restaurant I worked at. Came through a piece of equipment, and a blue bolt came and zapped me right in the hand as I had the customer's plate, and it just dropped just like that perfectly, and I could feel it just go through my body, through the bottoms of my feet. My tennis shoes were hot.
Yep.
Every hair in my body just went
Right.
like Bill the Cat, and
Yeah.
it was cool. It didn't knock me down. It didn't kill me, obviously, and
Right.
it was neat. But
Were
I
the
don't know.
guests like, oh my god?
They couldn't see me, thank goodness.
Oh,
It was
okay.
only me and my manager, and he's the only one who saw me. The power went, it destroyed the power lines in
Right.
the building. So we were in the dark, and you heard it, obviously we couldn't see the lightning, but the thunder boom was like I don't know,
Super loud.
a 6 on the Richter scale probably, or something.
Yeah.
And loud. It rattled
Yeah.
windows. It broke a window. But that was very cool. It was very cool. It was an energizing experience.
Did you feel differently after?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get into that in episode 2 of Interview with an Interesting Person with Scott Hatinger. I'm Kevin Schoen, and we'll be right back after these announcements.
Hello and welcome to another Interview with an Interesting Person, Part 2 of Scott Hatinger, with your host Kevin Schoen, and Larry the Man, and Sexy Hernandez.
Yeah! Scott, man, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, dude. Scott Hatinger, the guy who got struck by a lightning bolt.
Right.
And that's what we were talking about last.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Since
then,
then, what happened to you? Were you like, whoa?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
It was more
Yeah.
than just whoa. It was like I couldn't say anything. All the muscles contracted.
Yeah.
It was just like
Yep. Oh, of
stiff
course.
as a rock, just
Yeah.
because that's what electricity does to you. And I didn't. My manager asked if I was all right, and I said, yeah. He goes, well, let me run this plate out, and I'll come back and deal with you, See if you have to go to the hospital. How's
Right.
your heart? He asked me a bunch of questions.
Right, of course.
And
Yeah.
there was no, as far as I know, the only after effects were positive ones.
Uh-huh.
And according to my girlfriend at the time, they were positive ones.
Oh, well, that's
So lightning positive,
yeah.
It was a little ironic thing. I'd gotten hit by 220 volt also 2 different times.
Right.
One before the lightning bolt and then one after lightning bolt. So most people shouldn't be around me when it's really
Right.
a storm coming around. you
Right.
know.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Well,
But
you know.
as far as the after effects, who's to say? There's no control there with knowing how I was going to be without being hit by lightning any different than before being hit by lightning, if
Right.
that makes sense. There's no control place there. Same with me breaking my skull. How would I have known anything different than what actually happened?
Well, you'd mentioned earlier that you were mostly looking to the external world
Right.
to figure things out.
For the meaning.
The meaning.
The
You were-
meaning. I
You were
was-
hunting and searching in the external world.
Yes.
What about your pathway through the external world?
That was a typical middle class white boy 70s thing where
Yeah.
I love weed. I'm a pothead at heart also. I
Yep.
loved weed.
Yep.
And I love taking acid and dropping acid and taking mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of opened up my intellectual insight type of freeform thinking.
Yep.
And I was always looking from without this sphere, though. I was always looking, what are the answers? Is it what I do, who I am, people I interact with? What is it all about,
Yeah.
And I looked for, college wasn't for me. I was real smart, but I didn't like formal college and formal
Right.
education. I kind of rebelled against my dad being a teacher. That kind of
Right.
young person thing is like, oh, I'm not going to
Yep.
do this college thing. I'm dropping out.
Yep.
Hung out with other hippie types and basically was looking just to, I don't know, just to be happy.
Yeah,
I didn't,
right.
only until later did I understand happiness is a byproduct of doing the things that are proper and right with me.
Right.
It wasn't, if I had this job, I'll be happy.
Right.
It wasn't if I had this woman, I'll be happy. It wasn't if I had this dog, I'll be happy.
Right.
If I caught the biggest fish in the tournament, that doesn't guarantee me being happy either.
Of course,
But
yeah.
I was looking for those things and not finding. And it wasn't until I'm in recovery and alcohol was my poison. It was just a bad thing. I don't want
Yep.
to go into a lot about this, but it was a bad thing for me.
Yep.
And what alcohol did was it just put a wall between me and my happiness, but
Right.
also my ability to experience life from the inside.
So have you conquered that demon, would you say?
One day at a time I have.
Right.
That's all I get and I'll never be cured. I understand that for me, total abstinence is the only way for me to go.
Right.
What it did was it removed that wall and barrier for me to have internal experiences and internal, I like to call them spiritual experiences, but events that lead me to believe it is an inside job.
Right.
This whole discovery thing is an inside job, not how much money I make, not who I do or what I do.
An inside job,
And-
you mean it's coming from your own
From
head.
here,
Yeah.
from my heart and my brain and all of my body,
Yep.
and the universe is my power source.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm learning, and it's been a slow journey, but it had to be the way it was.
Of course.
We
Yeah.
all have things in our past that without those things we wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Right.
In beautiful Hazlet, Michigan.
Right.
Spiritualist capital of the 1890s. But what I found is that really, and this goes probably way back to my hippie days too, that really peace and love are the answers.
Yeah.
I'm a pacifist, being nonviolent, anti-war, and I believe in love. Love is the answer. John Lennon was definitely one of my heroes growing up and icons growing up. And I've learned that through my transformation into the sober world that, there's two main emotions, in my opinion. There's love and there's fear.
Love and fear.
Love and fear. If you're not doing it out of love, you're doing it out of fear.
Right.
And our brain kind of backs that up a little bit, Our brain is a defense mechanism for our body. It keeps us alive, and we'll forget things like Tom was saying about, hypnosis.
Our previous guest.
Our
Yes.
previous guest. Sorry.
Mhm. Yep.
Right
No.
on.
Yep.
Our previous guest. It's just part of the journey. And what I'm finding is that, man, it's a cool ride.
Yeah.
This is a great ride. This is the only trip I know that
Now I got a question.
goes on.
When I heard a little bit about you, at least I got the tagline environmentalist.
Yeah. I am very much a hunter, fisherman. What's the correct term here?
Conservationist.
Well, I'm
Okay.
out there in nature,
Right.
And I'm a steward of the land.
Yep.
Is how I like to put it.
Yep.
I teach kids and other people who don't know how to fish.
Mm-hmm.
On my own time. I'm not a professional. I teach some younger people who I trust how to use a gun and do some target practice or squirrel hunting or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take people with me to do those things. I love being outdoors. That's where I relate to everything. Mother Nature and the universe to me
Yeah.
is not right here in the garage. That's
Right.
cool, man. It's really cool.
Right.
But it's man-made. And,
Right.
Outdoor, the great whatever made it. And I don't have to put a label on that. I don't have to say it's a god or it's a great spirit like the natives did. I can just say the great whatever.
Well, let's get into that in episode 3 because I got some questions about that.
Okay.
This is Interview with an Interesting Person. I'm Kevin Schoen. This is the end of episode 2 with Scott Hatinger. We're going to come back for one more,
Cool.
and we're going to talk about a few more things. Yeah.
We all, the four of us go to the Lighthouse Chapel. That's how we all met.
Oh, really? Okay.
The four of us did.
Oh, I see.
Tonight, on another interview with an interesting person, another rare part 3 interview with Scott Hatinger, your host Kevin Schoen, Larry the Band, and me, Sexy Herman.
Scott, man, great to have you back, dude.
Good to be here, brother.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, you're on a spiritual journey, man. And you were talking about your interests and your sense of calmness and being in the right place when you're out into the natural world, which so many people are not in the natural world anymore. or as at least it's the less human influenced natural world, right? You know, like trees and plants, and maybe trails. And
I'm a tree hugger.
nature. Yeah.
I'm a tree hugger for
Now,
sure.
do you think this? I've often had this thought. Perhaps it has something to do with our evolutionary past, right? Mm-hmm. Now, people like to be in houses or other buildings because a cave is a safe, defendable place, right? Mm-hmm. But after you're in there for so long, I work inside all the time. I do stuff inside all the time, but mostly I just want to be outside.
Right. Right.
Right. And I find that's what drives calmness, man.
Yes.
Because you get to see trees and other things like that.
Yes.
Be one with nature.
Yes. One of the coolest things about being outdoors is being able to ground, to take your shoes and socks off and let your feet touch the Mother Earth and feel her energy and go through you. It's amazing that we all can do it anytime, anywhere, through snow, through mud, through hot sun, it doesn't matter. Just get outside and enjoy it, is my philosophy.
I like to go out. My girlfriend thinks this is weird. I like to go out in the absolute worst weather possible.
Oh, that's...
Right, if it's like
raining
crazy and it's blowing and it's like 35 degrees out and... maybe I go for a bike ride or a hike around or whatever, and she's like, "Why are you doing this in the worst weather possible?" And I'm like, "This is not the worst weather.
Right.
This is the best weather because this is when you have the full power of the.
It is
the awe, the power. I'm like, it's brutally cold. I'm freezing. I'm dripping wet, even though I got a rain suit on, and I think to myself. Nobody else is out of this stuff. Right. Everybody's
right. I'm
hiding.
solo.
Yeah, I'm solo, man.
And that's when the fish bite the best.
Oh yeah.
And that's when you see some of the animals. They have to live in this stuff.
Of course, they're out there all the time.
They're out there all the time. And sometimes that's where you see them, is in the worst possible weather.
Right.
And I love it too. I love being out there. Lightning storms, I'd just soon be inside.
Well, given your past history of electrocution, yes.
And being hit inside a building, maybe I'd be better off being outside.
Probably. As long as you're not golfing or anything like that. Right.
And I can't. Golf is people who can't fish.
Right, of course.
But anyway, the conservationist part too, by being outside.
Oh, let me get that. Oh, golf is for people who can't fish.
Who can't fish.
Right. Yeah.
Right on.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, I got it.
That's my motto.
Okay.
If I see trash when I'm out, for example, this is morel mushroom season coming real soon, and I go out and I look for morels, and I'll carry a bag with me, and I'll pick up trash in the woods if I see it, if I have a big enough bag.
Yep.
And when I'm out fishing, same thing. If I see a can or a bottle or something,
I see that all the time.
Bag and take it back to my truck and dispose of it. I love recycling.
Yep.
I have a wonderful woman in my life that loves recycling even more than I do. So she's a good one to push me to recycle. Hey, honey, can we recycle this? Oh, yeah, just take it apart and boom, boom. I love reusable, renewable energy type of things.
What do you think about small furry creatures?
Oh, they're tasty, man. Depends on how you cook them.
Have you ever had barbecued hamster?
No, but I've heard it's awesome.
Really?
I've heard.
Okay, I've got one.
Gerbils too. They're just a small bite though.
Okay,
Hamsters.
I've got one. Very, very close.
I'm a professional cook.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, you can't eat
you
can't eat the hamster.
Is this gonna be an online demonstration here?
No, you cannot eat the hamster or do anything like that until he's like already died about old age. I don't know what. He might be a little chewy then.
Right.
I've been trying to soften him up. He's got a particular fetish. I'm gonna grab him. The reason why is
animals love me though.
Okay.
They really do feel comfortable with me. I don't know why.
He's getting his hamster from behind the curtain.
Hey. Where
is that?
Does he have his knives out or?
Aww.
There, I decided to bring the hamster out.
He's cute.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he's wonderful.
What's his name?
His name is Buff.
I like it.
Yeah, Here, see, now we can fatten him up for you if we give him, perhaps, some carrot. He's kind of into carrot, but sometimes we'll see if he wants any carrot. Let's check this out. Ooh, yeah, he loves that carrot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's going to munch it up.
Oh.
He's got his paws. See?
Look at that.
He's really into carrots.
I wonder if...
I don't know if he's into red cabbage, too.
Do a live move.
Yeah, live move.
he's awesome.
Here, now, oh wait, see? Now he's got a problem now. He tried to shove it in his pouch,
Oh, did he just poop on you?
but his pouch is not big enough. So now he's pulling it out. Okay. So,
Fatten them up. How
Yeah.
about bacon?
bacon?
Bacon, that'll fatten them
You
up.
mean like, well...
Feed them little pieces of bacon.
They're vegetarians, kind of.
Darn it.
I know.
You can get some
But-
tofu bacon in you, buddy.
So what I was wondering is, tell me about how you commune with nature, man.
Oh, this is the best.
Okay.
This is the best.
In-
I'm big into
Yeah.
meditation, especially like astral meditation, where I travel outside my body. It's an age-old practice.
Whoa!
I didn't come up with it. The other humans did about whatever,
how do you
4,000 or
get-
5,000 years ago.
How do you get into the mode, though?
By breathing properly, first of all.
Okay.
By being relaxed, sitting straight up. I can't sit cross-legged because I'm too bow-legged, so I can't do the whole Om
Yeah.
thing. I can do the Om thing, but not cross-legs. I have to sit on something like a log or a rock or stump or something
How long
like
does
that.
it take you to get there?
Minutes. I can do it.
Minutes.
I could do it. As long as I've got Larry's music and
Really?
or being outdoors in the wind and the sun, and breathing properly,
Yeah.
then 5 minutes or so I could be somewhere else. I could be in Nirvana, for
Yeah.
example. Easy. But I had to be taught. I had to be taught that basically. I had
Yeah.
a really good therapist who's from India, and she goes, "You Westerners don't know how to breathe. I'm going to teach you how to breathe through your
Yeah.
nose. You guys talk. You breathe through your mouth so much. You know why that is?" And I said, "Why? Because we talk a lot."
Really? Okay. Yeah.
So, like right nostril energy, left nostril
What if you have
relaxation.
what if you have a
deviated
deviated
septum.
You're screwed.
You're in trouble.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if you're in trouble or not. You might not. Maybe
Okay,
it's just
okay.
quicker way.
I don't know. Okay.
But relaxing, breathing
What's the left
settle your
nostril
heart.
again?
Left is relaxation. The right nostril is energy.
Wow.
You can actually go to sleep easier by breathing only through the left nostril, but that means you have to have like your finger there or something the whole time going.
Okay.
Anyway, I can take and be in a nice meditative state within minutes, short time, and I don't have to travel anywhere. I don't control the
Yeah.
traveling. It's just my mind taking me somewhere else outside my body. Sometimes I see myself flying, like as an eagle or something like that, or sometimes I'm just sitting in a forest.
Well, that's
Just chilling.
that's astral projection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
That sounds totally like loads of fun. I'm gonna work on it.
It's really cool, and I can tell you a little bit about her breathing techniques that she showed me. It's very simple. You're just resetting your body to Mother Nature by breathing, by listening to the wind or the trees, the wind through the trees,
Yeah.
or anything like that. You can just reset. She's got the energy, Mother Nature does.
Totally. Mother Nature does.
She's got the rhythm. Now, how do I plug into that and just be going with the flow instead of fighting against the current? I want to go with the flow now. I
Yeah.
used to fight against the current because I thought that was fun and that is the way it's supposed to be.
Go with the flow, dude.
Go with the flow.
All right. Well, that's a good end cap to our interview, Scott. I really appreciate
Excellent.
you coming, and I appreciate you holding the hamster.
Oh, he's a
Giving
nice
him a
guy.
carrot,
I would
not-
never.
Not dicing him up as
I
a
would
tasty little meat pizza hamster on a stick.
Like a.
But you
yeah.
can have him after he dies. All right. Scott Hatinger.
It was fun.
Awesome, man.
It was fun. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Definitely.
This is great.
This is an interview with an interesting person. I'm Kevin Schoen, and we're signing off episode 3 with Scott Hatinger. And Buff, the
And
hamster.
Bob. He's so cool and relaxed. Look how relaxed you are. Don't jump.
It's a long fall.